situation remains dire. The Delta variant continues to put an unsustainable strain on our healthcare workers and our hospital system. In many cases, there are no beds, as has been widely reported. As of yesterday, there was an average of 288 new daily cases. There are now over 40,000 total cases and 846 deaths reported in Orleans. The positivity rate is over 12%. This touches everyone, and it is impacting young people. We will surpass 3,000 hospitalizations statewide today. We are seeing some movement on the vaccination since last Thursday, which is encouraging. From Thursday the 12th through yesterday, Orleans gained 3,932 new first dose vaccinations. That's a 1.7% increase. It's incremental. We want to see more, but we are pleased to see that. The biggest gains we're seeing in the under 18 age group, which jumped by 5.7%. Overall, we've crossed two important thresholds. More than 60% of all residents have at least one shot, and more than 75% of all eligible residents have started vaccination. We've said all throughout this that all options have to be on the table. You saw that last week with the announcements that the mayor and Dr. Avegno made on Thursday. We are happy to see, by and large, businesses are complying. People support this because they know it's the best way forward. We appreciate the businesses that are trying to do what's right. We also understand that it's not like flicking a switch, that there is an adjustment period, and that's what we're in this week. We do encourage businesses that need assistance to reach out for help. I know it was reported today that Morning Call was having some trouble trying to figure out how they were going to run their door operations. We have a solution for that. Right now, through our Job One program, we have staffing and we have funding to put people at the door that can help you check vaccinations at the door. So for those facilities that are having difficulty doing that, please reach out to Job One. We have people that want to work. We have funding to pay them, and we can do that, as I understand it, for up to 6 months. So please reach out. First come, first served, obviously, but we have a solution for that problem. And again, I know Morning Call was having struggle with that, as Doug reported, and we'd like to help them out. All that said, next week on the 23rd, we are going to begin enforcement actions. Businesses that are found not to be in compliance at that time will face a penalty. That could include, as you've seen throughout this, we've done it before. We don't like doing it, but we've done it. Immediate cease and desist orders. We shut you down on the spot until you can come into compliance. You've seen that happen before. We don't want to do it. We want people to be open. As the mayor has said, as the health leadership have said, the alternative to this is a shutdown. We don't want to shut down. We don't want to shut you down. We want everybody to be in compliance. We want everybody to get vaccinated. We do welcome all visitors. We want them to be vaccinated. It's pretty much as simple as that. A couple more announcements, and then, one more thing on the vaccinations. This is helpful. There's going to be a vaccine card assistance day this Friday. Friday the 20th, the New Orleans Health Department will staff a vaccine card assistance day event. That's going to be at the Treme Center from 9 till 7. And they're just really going to be out there to help people free of charge get their vaccination cards sorted out. That can include replacing a lost CDC card if you're fully immunized in the state of Louisiana. They can assist you with setup for LA Wallet. They can add your records to the Louisiana immunization records if you're immunized in another state, and they can walk you through all the logistics on it. Again, we want to meet people where they are, and we want to help them however we can to come into compliance. The LA Wallet app specifically, we can say, is working really well. It's very easy to use, and it can save you a lot of time. Couple quick updates, and then we will take questions. Municipal Traffic Court had a COVID-19 outbreak. The Delta variant has halted daily operations at the Criminal Clerk of Court's office. That has, in turn, halted efforts to resume jury trials in Criminal District Court. The clerk's office is solely responsible for preparing dockets for the 12 sections of court plus the magistrate court. It's important to know that, we're in an election season. This is one office that's on the ballot, the Criminal Clerk of Court. Not everybody necessarily knows what they do. In this instance, when they're impacted in this way by COVID, it can potentially shut down the justice system. Obviously, that's not what we want to have happen. We're working everything we can to coordinate efforts and make sure that we're rolling forward, but there is a snarl there. There's a stop point. There's a gap. And again, that's due to the Delta variant impacting the Criminal Clerk of Court's office. The Office of Criminal Justice Coordination under Commissioner Tanisha Stevens are remaining in close contact with the criminal justice agencies to ensure that the impact of Delta does not further impede system operations. I also want to speak briefly on the marijuana ordinances. We are supportive of these ordinances, and we believe it's a step in the right direction. However, there are some complications and some challenges that need to be worked through. We're confident that that can all happen, but it's something we need people to be aware of, that, again, it's one of these things that's not just like flicking a switch. For one thing, NOPD is obligated to receive approval from the U.S. Department of Justice and the federal court-appointed monitoring team before they can implement any policy changes, certainly of this caliber. To ensure that the NOPD remains compliant with the consent decree, they must adhere to the existing policies until the new policies are developed and improved. Which is to say, this can all happen and it will happen, but it's going to take time. We can work through it. We're not in any way against these ordinances, but we do want to make sure that the NOPD has the opportunity and the time to work through their policies in a way that is going to keep them compliant with the consent decree. And one more update, and then we'll move to questions. The New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund is now offering open Nola grants to the city's culture bearers. The grants support entertainment venues and the reopening of our cultural tourism infrastructure. That includes helping with PPE requirements for reopening and funding to pay musicians. The NOTCF board has also agreed to fund live entertainment venue artists up to 4 times or equal to $4,000. As of today, they've approved 30 grants totaling over $780,000. If you want to fill out an application, you go to notcf.com/grants. And that's all I've got for now, so we'll take some questions.
Yeah, I think they follow by Fox.
As far as the enforcement of vaccine mandate, can you say which arm of city government will be doing the enforcement and what their protocol?
So as we've kind of done throughout this, code enforcement has been the lead on this, and their protocols are going to be if you're found to be in violation and they can determine that on the spot, you're going to get a cease and desist order.
But are they going to be responding to 311? Are they going to be conducting proactive enforcement?
All of the above, yes. I mean, given that there is limited bandwidth, there's only X amount of people and X amount of hours in the day, but yes, they are going to be conducting spot checks, and they're certainly going to be responding to 311 calls.
And the spot check's going to be occurring in any particular neighborhood or particular area?
I do not have details on that at this time, but obviously we're going to go where the need is.
Is cease and desist their only enforcement option, though, or do they have other tools?
I believe they do have other tools. There are fines that are available. There are potentially conversations around licensing. Now, we're not going to be out there with the ABO necessarily because that's a state operation, but we are in and of ourselves at the city level. We were able to issue a cease and desist until people can come into compliance. And you saw that happen earlier in the pandemic, unfortunately.
Any idea how many people are available through Job 1 to help businesses like Morning Call?
I don't have that number available right now, but I can try and run it down for you later today. I know that, and this is as of just maybe less than an hour ago when I spoke to their head, they have folks lined up and they believe that they can run this for at least 6 months for the businesses that need that assistance.
The media issue.
The Saints have said that they are not going to give refunds or, let people opt out of the season tickets if they don't want to get vaccinated or show a test. Do you hope that having a vaccine mandate will encourage more people to get
Absolutely.
vaccinated?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point of it, is people need to get vaccinated. The only way we get out of this is people getting vaccinated. So the point of this mandate that's enforced is to keep our people safe and to encourage vaccination. Now, there are instances where obviously, the negative test result, you can do that. For many people, there's a frustration there that's like, well, I have to keep doing this and you have to keep doing this. Yeah, it would be better to just get the vaccine. You can only have to do it once. It takes about 30 minutes and you're done. So absolutely, the hope here is that for visitors to the Saints, for visitors to the city, you get vaccinated. If we can drive up vaccination rates elsewhere in addition to in New Orleans, so much the better.
Any more questions?
Was there any discussion about limiting attendance to the Saints game, since there are just so many people there
Right.
as opposed to Morning Call?
I'm not aware of the specifics. I know that obviously they've been in close contact with the health department throughout this. At this time, we are not making adjustments or guideline changes to their capacity because the expectation is that they're going to fall in line with compliance on the mask mandate and on vaccination requirements. They've been a really good partner in this, and we hope that they'll continue to do so.
And Bo, how is the mandate for City Hall employees to be vaccinated going? Do you have a?
I don't have an update. The last figure I had was 71%. I'm assuming it's gone up since then. The timeline on that has been moved up. Initially, it was sometime in October. The CAO's office is currently working on finalizing that policy to bring that forward. Once we have that document finalized, I'll be sure to share it with you.
Timeline, I'm sorry, can you just clarify timeline?
Yeah, so initially when we talked about the requirement that city employees be vaccinated, I think in the initial iteration of that policy, they had until sometime in October to come into compliance. That's now being brought up to a sooner date, but I don't have that date yet,
Any other questions?
If they don't comply, they could be terminated?
potentially.
Any more questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate your time.